ESPN reports that Sarah Strong has narrowed her choice of schools down to three, and that would be University of North Carolina, Duke, and UConn. In this video, we will first take a look at the losers, then the three contenders, and then when she might announce and if JuJu Watkins might play a part in her decision. Before we start, if you enjoy the content, then please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like. All right, let's get into this. Now, this news of narrowing of the schools down to three of UConn, North Carolina, and Duke has just been reported by Shane Laughlin of ESPN. Obviously, the big losers in this are South Carolina and LSU, who are vying for her services. You had to wonder if South Carolina was going to get it done because they brought her out when they gave UConn a drubbing. The crowd was chanting Sarah's name. And then afterwards, Dawn Staley was hoping to announce that they'd gotten Sarah Strong. And she said, no, we haven't got it done yet, but hoping to get it done in the future. Well, it has not happened. And it's understandable as South Carolina is so loaded. I mean, how many riches can you have? If they already have Joyce Edwards there, who's a top forward. In addition, they have Sanaya Fagan and Ashley Watkins and Chloe Kitts and Adele Tack is coming in. I mean, how many riches can you have in the front court? So I have no doubt that they're bummed out on missing out on Sarah Strong. But does it really matter? How many forwards do you need? Now, LSU is the big loser, in my opinion, as I think most speculation is that Angel Reese will go ahead and declare for the WNBA, and she would have slotted in quite nicely. She played with Michaela Williams with the USA team in the 3-on-3 championships, and you would have had Michaela Williams, Morrow, and Sarah Strong. That's a nice, strong three to build around. So, really, they really had a lot of hopes pinged on this. As well, other recruits that they were looking at on 24 they missed out on. Most notably, Jelani Cambridge, who went to Ohio State, Kate Cavall, who went to Notre Dame, and Justice Carlton, who's gone to Texas. As well, it's only fair to point out, Back to Sports is probably a loser on this as well, as I did the video mid last year talking about how Gary Reedus Jr. was such a recruiting genius and how it was LSU's secret weapon. I don't think that video is going to age real well. And the reason I point that out is in this video as well, take it all with a grain of salt. I will give information that might point out which way Sarah Strong is leaning or sort of looking at the options she has to weigh up. But as I said in one of the videos, I struggle to know what my teenage daughters are doing on a nightly to weekly basis. So to think that I have any idea where Sarah Strong is going to go is farcical. But with that said, I still think it's important to look at the three contenders' rosters, the coach, and the situation. So first, let's take a look at Duke. They're coached by Kara Lawson, who is a good recruiter. So she got the number 11 recruiting class in 2022. She got the number 6 class in 2023, which was highlighted by number 3 recruit overall, Jaden Donovan, who is a 6-foot forward. Donovan's been getting minutes, so she's been getting 22 minutes, 6.5 points, and 5 rebounds. She's not a real great shooter, it doesn't look like. She's shooting 39% from the free throw line. As well, if you look at Duke's incoming class, which is currently ranked number 5 now, if they get Sarah Strong, that will obviously move up. But they have number 19 recruit, Ariana Roberson, who is a 6'4 center, big that can intimidate inside and outside. And then you have number 83 recruit, Janessa Cotton, who's 6'2, and she is sort of a strong inside post player, has a lot of post up moves. All the highlights I've seen of her, it's basically her back to the basket, just taking people down low and scoring buckets. So with this team, that's not a bad fit for Sarah Strong. As if you've watched stories on Strong and her dad, Danny Strong, he's very involved in her game. They want her to have an all around game. They don't want her stuck in the post. They want her doing everything, handling the ball. Her coach, who was close to Sarah Strong's dad, put it out there. She's a Magic Johnson type player. She's a big that can take advantage of mismatches inside, but as well, she has a feathery touch from outside and can hit 3-pointers. and she's an all-around player. So this could be a good fit just because bigs that they already have, they have talent, obviously. Kara Lawson can recruit, and the bigs they already have are mainly more inside presence and sort of bigger. That would give her flexibility to move around. Now, the other option for Strong, if she wants to stay local, would be going to North Carolina, which is coached by Courtney Banghart, who came from Princeton prior to that. So she's been at UNC for the last 5 years. She can recruit as well. In 2023, she had the number 9 class, which was highlighted by Sierra Toomey, who's 6'4", who has a really good inside outside game. Unfortunately, she had a knee condition and did not play her freshman year. The North Carolina 2024 class is currently ranked number 19, which is highlighted by Belenka Thomas, a 6'5 center. So essentially, if she chooses either Duke or North Carolina, she will have talent around her. You might say Duke is slightly the better fit because it would allow her to demonstrate her outside game more, as they have bigs that are more inside based versus North Carolina, who with Sierra Toomey can go inside outside. But I think it's really apples and oranges, to be quite honest. I think you're picking hairs there, and it really comes down to, does she want to stay local? Well, to one or two of these schools, obviously, and then the other one, obviously, is UConn, which would be a good fit for her in a number of ways. First of all, they need a good forward because more than likely Aaliyah Edwards is moving on to the WNBA, so there's a nice spot for her to slot into. She would be competing with Ice Brady, Jana El Alfie, and Patterson, who's returning from a knee injury. But obviously, if she shows she can play, she's going to get a lot of minutes at UConn, and their offense allows forwards to display their full game. She won't be stuck in the block. She'll be able to face the basket and develop all aspects of her game. UConn offers big exposure. Obviously, they're a big time program, but that's the question with this recruiting of Sarah Strong. If you look at her AAU team that she plays for, it's Team Lady Strong, which is run by her father. And that's the thing. She didn't feel like she had to be with a big AAU program because they trust her talent. And in a lot of ways, I wonder if that will impact her recruiting, because I think Team Strong would think, we don't need UConn. Our brand is big enough. We might go the JuJu Watkins route if you like, and Sarah will stay local. And if she goes to Duke or if she goes to North Carolina, she can build that program up because she is so good, and those two coaches can recruit. And whatever you put around Sarah will eventually win, just like how USC is winning with JuJu Watkins. Now, that is just one hypothetical. The other one might be that the reason that Sarah Strong eliminated LSU and South Carolina was that she wants to make a big production out of her announcement. It's been speculated that she might do this at the McDonald's All-Star Game. She won the Naismith High School Player of the Year award this year. They have the McDonald's All-American game or High School All-American game in Houston. I think it's like early April, like the 1st or 2nd of April. And will she do a big hat dance there and make that game all about her and where she is going? And if that's the case, was she reluctant to sort of do the hat dance and sort of dish LSU and South Carolina and sort of nix them early to sort of break it earlier to them who had been recruiting her hard, so that she can ultimately choose UConn and it's not such a big deal letting down North Carolina and Duke? So those would be your two hypotheticals. You take your pick on that. Players can start signing from the 17th of April, so you think a decision would come sometime between now and early April. Now, for me, between the two theories I laid out, I would probably go UConn, but who knows? I could easily see it one of the North Carolina schools, just because she wants to stay local near her home and build a program, much like I say JuJu Watkins has done at University of Southern California. Anyway, your thoughts, your poison. Let me know what you think and where you think she's going. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a good night.